Good morning. It is Friday, May the 21st. I'm Shane Seeley, and this is the CBC Morning Report. Now, despite some encouraging numbers with over 76,000 Barbadians taking the COVID-19 vaccine, there still appears to be some hesitancy among sections of the population in taking the jab. Why is this? Well, to answer that question and to discuss this and other burning issues regarding the vaccine this morning on the Morning Report, his Morning Report contributor and emergency room physician, Dr. Hilary Moore. Dr. Moore, good morning to you.
Good morning. How is everyone today?
Pretty good, but it appears that some people, despite the numbers, they're looking good. People have been going out there and getting that vaccine. Some people still are a bit hesitant. Why is that?
So when we say some people, it's actually more of the younger generation or the young adults that are a little more hesitant to get the vaccine. If you realize in the 70-odd thousand, a lot of it included our older people, especially above the age of like 60, 70, the healthcare professionals who actually have to work with a lot of COVID positive patients or possibly interact with COVID positive patients. So I'm actually seeing that the hesitancy is a lot in our young adults. And you know me, as usual, I had to ask a few questions because it's one thing to hear it, it's another thing to know why it's happening so you can address the whys. So one of the things that they're telling me is that, you know, COVID, yes, if I get it, it's not going to really do me anything. So there is that chance, there is that possibility that you are going to be an asymptomatic person. But remember that when you get the vaccine, you're not only protecting you, you're also protecting the vulnerable around you. And I think what they're thinking is, oh my goodness, but most of the older people have been vaccinated, so I'm protecting them. But you also need to protect the children, the teens, those are below the age of 18 who are not able to get the vaccine. I remember back in last year when we were saying, okay, we want to look and see what was going on where the vaccine was concerned. Because I actually had some person say, but you know, last year you were saying you're not going to take it yet. Now let's remember the context of different things. Last year we didn't have community spread. We didn't have large numbers. A lot of the vaccines had now come out. And there were studies, I remember there was one in particular that studied 30 who used the vaccine. But in that study, there were only 1,700 Black people. So at that point in time, when we didn't have community spread, we had COVID well isolated to like Harrison's Point and those type of places. You know, it was okay to say, okay, let's see how it affects Black people around the world. No, we've had millions being vaccinated, millions of Black people being vaccinated. So that is no longer a concern. We're not having that many issues. But no, we also are in a state where we do have community spread. Remember, with everything in life, regardless of what it is, there's always a risk. You always have to make sure the benefits outweigh the risk. Now, when we think about COVID-19, it's not only death that occurs with COVID-19. You have to think about the long-term effects. You know, people are having inflammations around their heart. They have chronic lung issues. You know, some of them are having problems with memory. They're having problems with functioning, even muscles, nerves. All these things can potentially get damaged. So yes, a younger person or a young adult may not necessarily die, but they are at risk of getting, you know, these long-term effects. So I understand vaccine hesitancy. It's not only in Barbados, it's all over the world. But remember, we're doing this not only for ourselves, but for the people around us. Also, one of the things that people keep telling me is, oh, but you get clots for the vaccine. Now remember, you need to read not just headlines, you need to read all the information. And therefore you will get a better view and a better understanding of what is happening.
And I remember you said, Dr. Moore, that with the clot situation, you're much more likely to get a clot just making a trek on an airplane to another destination rather than get it with the vaccine. There's something else that popped up recently. I know the social media plays a lot into the vaccine hesitancy as well. But what about you? You mentioned those long-term effects. Do you think that Barbados now needs to move to a stage where we set up rehabilitation centers for people recovering from COVID?
To be honest, I don't know all of the people who've had it in Barbados, I don't know where they are now. And that is something that I would really love to know. But we may need to. Remember, the US and UK have had to set up rehabilitation centers because the people who've had COVID are having such long-term effects. Again, respiratory, coughing, shortness of breath, can't do much. Muscles, they're not able to walk or move around as they used to. brain function. They're not even able to remember all the things that they used to. They're even getting inflammations of the heart. So there is a possibility and a chance that we may need to do the same here. Um, but I can't really say definitely because I don't have the numbers of how much people here who've had COVID, their long-term effects. So, but I can see if we continue in this trend, the reality is number-wise, we're going to have people with these long-term effects, and we more than likely will need to eventually. But where we are right now, I cannot 100% swear for it.
Yeah. There's another issue that has popped up. It appears that now the vaccination program is focusing on those who are to get the second shot. Are you satisfied with the pace and the rate at which the vaccination program is moving right now?
So to be fair, no vaccination program has been perfect. That's a worldwide issue. Um, and I do understand the need right now for a little more focus on second doses to make sure that those people who were vaccinated early in the program get their second doses. Because remember, one dose only makes you 60 something percent. Where's my word? Just lost the word. Anyway, it only has a 67% efficacy. You go up to
Right.
90 and above 90% after the second dose. So I do understand that. However, I don't think that focusing only on second doses where we need what we really need is if we can get 70% of our population, which means the majority of our adult population, because remember we can't vaccinate those under 18 as yet. We need to get our adult population vaccinated. So there are still quite a few people that are looking for their first doses. And I don't want that, they're interested now. And we're humans, that's human nature, and then you're going to find in a month, that, yeah, I'm not going to bother. I didn't get it in the last month, so I'm not going to bother. So I think we need to be focusing, yes, extra focus on second doses, but I think we also still need to have some focus on the first doses. Have a few areas where they can go and get first doses, which are open. And I do like the concept that they've taken the vaccines away from the polyclinics. And the reason for that is that means that the polyclinics can go back to to more of their normal functions, which is managing the diabetes, the hypertension, the diabetic with their infected feet, the people with kidney problems, immunizations of children, looking after antenatal patients, postnatal patients. So these things really needed to start back. So it's good that they diversified them away from the actual clinic centers. But I think we need more involvement where there are more centers out of the polyclinics, involving more people, including the private sector, as well as we're having areas where they can still go and get first doses at this point in time. But it's going to take a lot of coordination and a lot of work. And, things happen, I guess, with time.
Yes, and we'll continue to monitor the situation, Dr. Moore, but it's always good to get your view right here on the Morning Report. You stay safe on the front lines. Until next time.
All right, you too. Bye.
Thank you so much, Dr. Moore. We'll take a break here and come back with your COVID updates. Can employers force their workers to take the COVID-19 vaccine? Well, the Attorney General, Dale Marshall, has been forced to clear the air on mandatory vaccinations for employees. In an interview with CBC News, the AG says regardless of the sector, no employer is able to demand vaccinations, not even the government. Crystal Hoyt has more on this story.
There's been much discussion surrounding mandatory vaccination, particularly as it relates to the healthcare and hospitality sectors, as well as the police force. Attorney General Dale Marshall is weighing in on the issue. The question, in essence, is, can employers in Barbados demand their employees be vaccinated?
The answer to that is no. No employer can compel you to become vaccinated any more than he can compel you to die or here. But it is open to an employer to say, because of the nature of my business, I want my employees to be vaccinated. If the employee chooses not to be vaccinated, then that employer can take a decision to say, well, I'm sorry, I can no longer keep you as my employee, and I'm going to terminate you.
However, the Attorney General says a decision like that would come with repercussions.
A question of wrongful or unfair dismissal would arise, in which case I believe that a court or tribunal would consider that person to have been unfairly dismissed, and the employer would have to pay compensation.
But he notes that there are circumstances where it wouldn't be unreasonable to ask.
So let's say, for example, a person has a nursing home, and we know that the elderly are at risk, and an owner of a nursing home may say, I really don't want to put my wards, the people who are in my care, at risk of contracting COVID. So I really want you to help me and to help us by becoming vaccinated.
He adds that it's a balancing act.
Do I put the risk of my elderly patients and the health and the life of my elderly patients at risk, or do I not? So there's circumstances where I don't think an employer would be acting unreasonably, but he would never be able to say, you must get vaccinated.
That is the point the AG wants everyone to take away from the discussion. Crystal Hoyt, CBC News.
Meanwhile, we hear this morning that administration of first doses of the COVID-19 vaccine is expected to resume in earnest from June 1st. The coordinator of the National Vaccination Program, Major David Clark, made the revelation during a telephone interview with CBC News. Major Clark says at that time a new appointment system will be in place. However, he explains that people will not be able to book appointments yet, as the focus now is on fully vaccinating those people who have already received their first doses.
I have to finish the existing vaccines we have by the 29th of May. Once we have finished that, we will immediately go into first doses, and we will have a new appointment system. We will communicate this through our GIS website so that people will be able to go in, book the location, date, and time. They will receive an email, and then we're off and running with first doses.
Now, while Barbados is using COVID-19 vaccines originating from the Oxford AstraZeneca version, Trinidad and Tobago is resuming its COVID-19 vaccinations today with Sinopharm shots. The Minister of Health there, Terence Dial Singh, says the country recently received a donation from China of 100,000 Sinopharm vaccines. TTT reports.
With the addition of the Sinopharm vaccine to TNT, Minister Dial Singh used the advice given to the U.S. population by their health experts.
Vaccine is available to you, take it. The best vaccine for you is the WHO vaccine that is available to you at this point in time. We are only bringing in WHO vaccine, so you have that stamp of approval, that stamp of confidence. Whichever vaccine is available for you at that time is the best vaccine for you.
The minister said with the Sinopharm vaccine, an individual can be fully vaccinated in under a month, whereas with AstraZeneca, there's a 2 to 3 month window to get fully vaccinated. Those being vaccinated in this phase are people over age 60, those under 60 with NCDs and obesity, and healthcare workers. Minister Dayal Singh said all vaccinations will be done strictly by appointment, as no walk-ins will be accepted.
AstraZeneca vaccines will come in a vial of 10 doses. So once you open one, at the end of the day, if there's nobody else, then you could accommodate walk-ins, which used to happen. However, the Sinopharm vaccines are packaged differently, in that they are packaged in a vial of 2 or 3, I believe, 2 or 3 doses. So there's no more flexibility at the end of the day to vaccinate walk-ins.
There's new information about the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines, and we're learning more about the variants and boosters. Plus, the debate over kids in school continues, but now masks are in the mix. We hear more in this CNN report.
We're winning the war on the virus.
COVID-19 cases are the lowest they've been in nearly a year, down in all 50 states. Hospitalizations are down. Deaths are down. Health experts say it's proof vaccines work. And now Pfizer's vaccine just became easier to distribute. After the FDA announced the thawed, undiluted vaccine can be stored for a month at normal refrigeration temperatures instead of just 5 days. And there's new data that shows both Pfizer and Moderna's vaccines have cut down on infections in nursing homes. There are also lab experiments suggesting both vaccines appear to protect against the variants first seen in India. Both companies have been working on vaccine boosters against a variety of variants. But now, Dr. Anthony Fauci says they might not be needed against specific variants.
It is likely that you could just keep boosting against the wild type.
And he says we may need boosters in a year or so as the level of protection starts to decline. And that assumes full vaccination, though, which is only approved down to age 12, though trials are underway on kids younger than that. So the American Academy of Pediatrics says unvaccinated kids over the age of 2 still need to wear masks in public places. But the CDC has yet to release specific updated guidelines for schools. So the question, to mask or not to mask, depends on where you live.
So you had your full dose on vaccine news this morning. Let's head over to Pearson to see what's happening on the Friday edition of Mornin Barbados. Pearson?
Thank you, Shane. We'll bring some beauty to the screen this morning. Miss Universe Barbados is back. As you know, last Sunday she would have competed in that international competition. We'll check in with her on that journey. We'll hear all of the stories behind the scenes for sure. We'll also today be hearing from the Barbados Accreditation Council as they continue their education campaign about the CARICOM Skills Certificate. Can you qualify? What does it take to qualify? We'll share with you that as well. But we'll also today be hearing from that couple behind that storybook, Lily and Luca's Adventures, about Harrison Cave. It's going to be delightful when they join us right here on Morning Barbados. Back to you, Shane.
Yes, and we also have some good news for you here on the Morning Report about the tourism sector. That comes after the break. Hotel occupancy in Barbados increased by 92.9% in the month of April. While acknowledging the significant jump, tourism officials are noting the industry is not back to normal just yet. These were some of the key points raised during the Barbados Hotel and Tourism Association's quarterly media update. Rianne Phillips has more.
We recognize when
Chief Executive Officer of the Barbados Hotel and Tourism Association, Senator Rudy Grant, is cautioning people about getting excited about the numbers.
If you hear a figure of an increase of 92.9 or 93% virtually, you would think that that is significant. But the reality is that given where we were previously in April, this is not a significant amount at all. The truth is that at this stage, occupancy is in the vicinity of 15%.
As occupancy rates remain low in comparison to normal times, earnings are still down.
April this year in comparison to April last year, a significant percentage increase in terms of dollar figures. It is not significant at all. You're talking about moving from about $1.5 million, and I'll give you the precise figure very shortly, moving from $1.7 million to $5.7 million, which is not a significant amount. And in fact, if you look at what would have been the figure in April of 2019, that figure was $78.7 million.
On the flip side, the outlook for the upcoming summer period is soft, while winter bookings are shaping up good. However, officials remain optimistic improvements will pick up when Barbados is shifted from the UK's amber list.
The constraint that we're going to face at this time is that persons are going to be hesitant to travel to any country that's on the amber list, knowing that they have to return to the UK and quarantine, as the CEO said, for 10 days and take 2 tests.
The BHTA intends to support government wherever possible to get Barbados on the green list. Even though the situation remains fluid, officials are confident the sector will recover quickly. Rianne Phillips, CBC News.
A group of youth mental health advocates is using social media to create a safe space to confront mental illness while beating the stigma associated with it. Aaliyah Briggs has more.
22-year-old medical student and founder of Let's Unpack It, David Johnson, launched the platform in January last year, just before the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. The goal? Using social media content to unpack mental health issues while providing a safe space for young people to discuss the challenges they face.
We realized that the 18 to 24 category is the category that's most impacted by mental illness. At that point, one is really trying to understand who they are. They're trying to develop their personality. With social media as well, there are a lot of mental health challenges that come about because of that. And so what we've really tried to do is to reach that target population where they're at.
Over the last year, the page has seen tremendous growth, with team members in Barbados, Grenada and Guyana, with one partner as far east as Sri Lanka. Johnson attributes the page's growth to a spike in young people seeking mental health advice while coping with the pandemic.
Within our lifetime, we've been forced to adapt to so many new normals, for lack of a better term. And certainly within these last 2 years, like you mentioned, we've faced a lot of crises that are new. Now is a great time, now that everybody's thinking more about mental health and mental illness because of the pandemic and everything going on. Now is a great time to get very, very serious about the conversation surrounding mental health, and I think that's what we've sought to do.
LUI partner Chelsea Jordan explains how the team uses captivating and engaging graphic and video content to deliver mental health, personal development, and motivational tips geared towards young people.
A big part of what we do, we create posts of things that we think persons need and want, but in a simpler format. The idea that David had was to repackage some of this information that was out there for persons who might just be swiping, on social media. We don't stay too long. So that went into the thought process behind the fonts we use, the colors, the length of posts that we did. So that's basically our job, but we all work together to run the page.
You can support Let's Unpack It by following their Instagram page at Let's Unpack It CO and sharing their content on social media or telling a friend, because mental health matters. Aaliyah Briggs, CBC News.
Further afield now, news that hundreds of employees of the famous Atlantis Resort are to be paid their severance payments in 3 lump sums have not gone down well with the Bahamas Hotel, Catering and Allied Workers Union. The resort, citing the pandemic's impact on global travel and lingering uncertainty over recovery, has made 700 employees redundant. We have a report from Our News.
The Bahamas Hotel Catering and Allied Workers Union advised workers not to sign the form, noting that the union is against the move. Tourism Minister Dionisio Diagula says the resort has faced financial challenges.
Atlantis was extremely financially challenged, we were led to believe, and they needed to get additional funding in place and rework their balance sheet and take into consideration what has happened with the onset of COVID.
On Monday, Atlantis President Audrey Oswell announced plans to make 700 employees redundant. Documents obtained by Our News reveal that the workers are set to receive their payouts in 3 monthly installments beginning at the end of May and ending in July.
I'm sure that it was a cash flow consideration. What do we have the cash right now to take care of, and can we, over a certain period of time, be allowed to fulfill this obligation to our staff based on the cash that we have in our bank. And you know, I'm sure there are a lot of people who say, oh, they have the cash and they can do it. I mean, obviously, the business comes to us and the government has been pushing. And I want everyone to know the government has been pushing for the settlement.
Progressive Liberal Party leader Philip Davis called this approach cruel and suggested the Minutes administration could have been more proactive.
It's perhaps more cruel not to be giving them their monies all at once. We understand the situation with what's going on in the economy, but at the very least, it just didn't have to be done this way.
Sporting news now. The tournament window for the 2021 Hero Caribbean Premier League has been confirmed. The 2021 event will get underway on August 28th and will run until September the 19th. Well, this year, the tournament will take place in St. Kitts and Nevis, with all 33 matches being played at Warner Park. This follows on from the successful staging of the Hero CPL in Trinidad and Tobago last year. In 2020, the tournament had a combined viewership of 523 million and an increase of 67% from 2019, with record value delivered to sponsors and commercial partners. Pete Russell, the Heroes CPL Chief Operating Officer, said that it is really exciting to have the tournament window for the 2021 season confirmed, as he thanked the St. Kitts and Nevis government for agreeing to host this year's event. Time now for a look at the weather. Not too bad on the outside. 27 degrees Celsius is where it stands right now. It's a bit warmer as expected at this time of year, getting up to 29 degrees Celsius, the apparent temperature. It's partly cloudy as the relative humidity stands at 80%. Barometric pressure is 1015 millibars this morning, and those winds are blowing from the east at 26 kilometers per hour. There will be a low tide this afternoon that's 14 minutes to 6. There will be a high tide later on tonight, closer to midnight, just after 11 actually. Those seas are calm to moderate in open water. A good day at the beach it should be. Those swells are around 2 meters right now, but you can expect them to increase. This is the outlook for Barbados today, as you see that haze outlook in effect for a slight layer of dust across the island, but it will be mostly sunny with a few brief isolated light showers. And tonight it will be partly cloudy with a few brief isolated light showers. Today over the Lesser Antilles, a pretty picture as it will be mostly sunny. And tonight it will be fairly partly cloudy there, and they will get a few light showers after midnight. Mostly double digits in our international jurisdictions today, except for London and Frankfurt, as they get down to 6 and 8 degrees Celsius respectively. But in New York, Boston and Miami, the sun is out, partly cloudy skies there, getting up to 31 in Boston and 28 in New York and Miami. In Toronto, it's cloudy and getting up to 19 down to 14, at least all double digits. And Montreal, you're getting some showers today. as you're also in double digits there in that beautiful Canadian city. And that's it for this edition of the Morning Report. I'm Shane Seeley. Morning Barbados starts now.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Morning to you.
Fantastic Friday morning to you, everyone. Welcome to Morning Barbados today, Friday, the 21st of May, 2021. Great having you company. To those of you viewing on our Facebook stream at CBC Barbados and at Morning Barbados as well, good morning. How you doing? And all of you on our YouTube channel, Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation, so wonderful having you all. Thank you for joining us today. Our creatives are continuing to create, and you will hear their music on our 100% local music station 94.7, the best 24/7. One of those creatives will join us today to tell us about one of the songs he's released for what we call crop over this time of year. So look out to hear more about him and that. We'll also today be connecting with the beauty in them all, Miss Universe Barbados Hilary Ann Williams, who's back to share her story. But another creative joins us now. She is an upcoming gospel artist. Her name is, by stage, Aaliyah St. Hill. Her given name is Danielle. Good morning to you, Danielle.
Good morning, Pearson. How are you today?
I'm doing very well today. How are you doing?
I'm well, thanks.
All right. Now, you're relatively new to the scene, and there's some who are going to be looking at you and saying, but who are you? What do you say to that?
Well, right. Aaliyah St. Hill, also known as Danielle St. Hill. Well, that's my real name. I am a young person who's passionate about people, passionate about God, passionate about singing, music, worship leading, and my heart is just for doing worship, to be honest.
Oh, that's beautiful. When did this passion that you've described it as, do you think, began for you?
Well, I began worship leading from the time I was about 11 years old, and I've been singing in my church ever since. But I think I start to take it more seriously about 17, 18. That's when I really started to pay more attention to singing.
Oh, just the other day, because you're just, what, a meager little 22 years old, right? So far, so good for you. Now, what church are you with?
Kingdom Empowerment New Testament Church of God.
All right. So all the way along the way, you've been performing on stage at your church as part of your worship leading team. But now you're forayed into performing before a microphone and having it recorded for everyone to hear you. So talk to me about why you chose to leap into that particular area then to actually do recordings.
Initially, it was not my thought. It was not my intention to actually record. But my pastor, Bishop Burt, kind of spoke to me. We had a conversation about recording, and I was a little nervous at first, I would say, but then I took it as a great opportunity to explore myself more, to get to know myself a little better, to step out of my comfort zone, because as I said, worship leading is kind of my thing, and as you know, the whole performing thing is completely different. So I was eager to take on the task and to try to come out of my comfort zone, try new things, and also to grow and develop as an artist, as a singer, as a worship leader.
How do you keep yourself humble? Because, you know, God does not like haughty people. And so here it is, you're putting yourself out there as an artist now for people to look at you and to assess you. And you want to feel good about that. So how do you control the ego and still remain humble?
I had a conversation with someone a few weeks ago about remaining humble, not getting too big-headed, and it was a very needed conversation. Sometimes we tend to think, oh, like you've made it, or you've done this, or I've accomplished so much, but in fact, you did say that God doesn't like hot-headed people and people who are too big for their boots, as we would say. So always remaining grounded in You know, you've not reached anything, you've not achieved anything. You're just here to carry out a message. You're just here to do God's work. And it's as simple as that. Do all that God requires of you and don't get too big for your boots, you know?
Yes. What I like about you is that, again, at the young 22 years old, because you're tempted like other young people are by the things of the world, and, you know, you want sometimes, I suppose, to be like the other young people, but you remain steadfast. Who are the people around you who influence you to stay focused on your path and your walk with God?
To be honest, it's always hard as a young person to remain steadfast, to remain in a church setting. But I must say that my pastor, our assistant pastors at our church, my mother, my family, like all of these persons played an important role in me becoming who I am at this age, remaining in church, because, you know, we tend to stray away at a certain age. But those persons tend to, you know, pray for me, really uphold me and uplift me before God and ensure that I don't fall into the traps of the world. So having people that really are invested in my growth and invested in me was really, really helpful in this journey.
And so you've decided now to, as I said, record. Tell us about this new song of yours.
I partnered with Sherry Amon. She's actually the writer of Clap. I reached out to her that was about in 2019, to record this song. And this was not the initial song that we discussed, but somehow this one came into the, I would say, the thought process. And I fell in love. I wanted to do something that was fun, something that was a little bit of my personality, and kind of showcase my vocal abilities at the same time.
So it's called Clap.
Yes.
Is that an acronym, or does it mean something, or does it really mean clap?
It just means clap.
So what are you asking us to clap for?
Let's clap for our essential workers. I mean, they've been working extremely hard behind the scenes. Let's clap for our leaders. They're doing an exceptional job at what they're doing. And I know that they're under so much pressure. So let's just celebrate all of the accomplishments of those persons, as well as just clapping to ourselves, because we've made it through some of the most difficult times of our lives.
Indeed, there's so much to clap about, so much to clap for. Now,
Indeed.
In getting into the studio, when you hear yourself, because you heard the final bits down, you thought, what did you think, by the way, when you heard the final bits down?
Initially, I wasn't in love. This one had to grow on me. It really did. When I heard it, I was like, because I had heard the one previously.
Yes.
I wasn't quite sure. But then this one grew on me, and I was like, okay, I see it. I see why this part was chosen, or why this was inserted here. But yeah.
Did you ever feel like anytime, let me go back into the studio and re-record this one, because I'm not sure if I like the way I phrased it in this way. Did you feel that way?
Yeah, I did that. At first, we recorded it straight, and then I was like, I feel like we could improve a little bit. And then Sharian also gave me some advice and instructions. So I was like, this makes more sense, so let's go and do this now and improve it a lot more.
I've always wondered what it is. There it is, folks. That's what it's called. Clap by Aliyah Sithill. That's her name. The Passion Project. And you know, I've always wondered, when you're standing before the microphone in a recording studio and you're actually delivering this song for us. We've never heard it, and so for you, it's the very first time you're being able to tell the story. What's in your head while you're preparing this project and recording it? So I'm not so sure what's happening there, because Aliyah, I can't hear you. I don't know if the folks at home can, but I certainly can't hear you. But you would have met her. You saw her face before, haven't you, folks? We had her on as one of our exceptional young people before when she won that talent competition. And so today we're glad to have her again to talk about her new project called Clap. It's a brand new gospel song. It's available locally, and you are obviously hearing it on the radio stations. And when you hear it now, you know That's the face. That's the woman behind the song, written by Sharianne Mon herself, quite acclaimed as a gospel artist as well, award-winning too. And she would have produced that song with Aaliyah St. Hill. Danielle is what her mother called her, but Aaliyah is her stage name. So Aaliyah, right, you were telling me now about the thought process while you're in the recording studio and you're delivering it for the very first time, but we, the audience, have not yet heard it. But you want us to hear something. What's that like in your head?
I just wanted a message that was relatable, a message that persons would have connected with. Persons could say, I want to be like this someday, or I want to be able to share my opinion with people or voice my opinion with people and not be afraid to be who I am, just be yourself. And I wanted persons to really connect with it, connect with me, connect with my message and all that I had to say.
So the song is called Clap. It's a gospel song written by Sharianne Mon, and it's available for download. Is it available where? How?
You can find Clap on SoundCloud, and you can also find it on YouTube.
So what do you want to do next, Aaliyah St. Hill, in terms of taking your performance and your ministry to the world?
I don't want to let the cat out of the bag.
Well, then bring the dog. You're working on something.
On some new stuff coming up. Kind of doing some self-discovery and trying to find a message that I really want to release to the people, and just having fun discovering who Aaliyah really is and allowing the audience and persons to connect with that person.
You're a graduate of the University of the West Indies. You're a working woman. Do you think at any time your ministry will overpower everything else that you've built so far?
Sometimes it's a thought and it gets really scary. Not sure if I'm ready for it yet, but nonetheless, not my will, but God's will be done.
Yes. Did you know that you have already been nominated in the Flame Gospel Awards? Look at you, look. Look at your face, look.
This is news to me.
Girl, it's our pleasure to reveal to you that you have been nominated as a first-time gospel nominee in the New Artist of the Year category. So, yeah! So we're going to celebrate with you when you win in that category as well. So we're pleased to break that news to you, Aaliyah St. Hill. And I certainly want to wish you...
so much.
You're very welcome. Don't blush. Stop blushing. So I know as you head out today to enjoy your life today, we want to wish you well on your journey. We really hope that God continues to bless your vocal cords to continue delivering in His ministry, really. At the end of the day, it is His ministry, and we want to support you in that as well. So don't be afraid to come back to us to share even more, because we want the whole world to know about Aaliyah St. Hill.
Yes, please. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it.
You're very welcome, Miss First-time New Artist Gospel nominee in the Flame Gospel Awards. Thank you so much, Aaliyah. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
You're very welcome. We're back after this break.
to you.
We have 15 minutes to go to the hour of 7 o'clock. You would have just seen the trailer there for the upcoming feature film to be shown right here on TV8, Josiah. We'll get to meet some of the artists, some of those actors who are part of that production as well, right here on Morning Barbados today. But let's turn our attention now to the ongoing work of the Barbados Accreditation Council. We're joined by one of the administrative officers, Raquel Griffith. Good morning to you, Raquel.
Pearson.
Good morning indeed. Welcome. I want to look today, if you don't mind with me, let's start first of all by reminding folks of the work of the Barbados Accreditation Council. Why? What's the purpose you serve?
Okay, so the Barbados Accreditation Council, we have broad goals. So our first is to register and educational providers. These are post-secondary art and to accredit and re-accredit those providers and their education. Now, we encourage persons, once you are seeking to look at the secondary level.
All right, tell you what, Raquel, you just hold on right there. Our technical director in the back will work through something with you so we get a very nice flow as we connect with you. Raquel, who is an admin officer with the Barbados Accreditation Council, reminding us that the Accreditation Council is there to certify and to recertify organizations and courses, educational organizations and courses. And of course, as you will probably hear as we talk a little bit further with her, that you as an individual watching right now, you can call them to find out which institutions you're engaging with and their level of accreditation as well when you finish that educational pursuit. Today though, we want to also look at the CARICOM skills certificate and its relevance to you, whether or not based upon what qualifications you have, you do qualify to hold a skills certificate, whether or not it entitles you to permanently relocate somewhere to work in that particular jurisdiction within the region as a skilled certificate, skilled CARICOM national, and just which islands really are accepting of that skilled certificate designation. So there's a lot to talk about today, and I'm sure you'd also want to know how you can benefit, how you can access all of this. So very shortly, once we get all of that resolved, we'll be able to talk to Raquel a little bit further about what is the work of the Barbados Accreditation Council. So stand by for that in just a little bit. So, also, as I've been telling you, by the way, this feature film, Josiah, has really been taking off. A lot of people have been tuned into this. It's happening right here on TV8, Bajan TV, on Sunday afternoon at 4. And it's a good opportunity for you to really see the story of Josiah Bowen, note the last name, and the connection with the Carolinas. That connection is a story that is rich, and that rich history will be brought to the fore right here on TV8, Bajan TV on Sunday at 4 in the afternoon. This morning we'll also get to meet one of his love interests. Yes, there's a plot that has all those twists and turns. It's not just history unfolding, but it's real life unfolding before us in the film Josiah. You think we have her now? All right, so Josiah is going to be at 4 this Sunday afternoon right here on TV8. Quickly while we fill, we just want to let you know too that tomorrow there's another one of those stand home parties. Stand home party right here with a live performance by Faith Calendar. It's all white, so you are encouraged to wear your white as well to be a part of the Zoom room for tomorrow's stand home party right here on TV at Bajan TV. So very shortly, we'll be connecting once again with Raquel Griffith, an admin officer with the Barbados Accreditation Council, as we continue our discussion on the ongoing work of the Barbados Accreditation Council. Just waiting for the go-ahead from our technical crew so that we can continue that discussion with her. But I'll tell you what, while we work this out, we'll take a break and we're coming back with more.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Tremendous morning again to you. We're still trying to work that out with Raquel Griffith from the Barbados Accreditation Council. But for those of you watching us on our Facebook page, you stay with us because there's a whole lot more still to come, including meeting Miss Hilary Ann Williams, Miss Universe Barbados. She's back. There's a lot to talk about. And she's done well. Just how well she'll tell you. So you don't want to miss that as well. We'd also again be connecting with a couple of the actors in the upcoming feature film, Josiah, and they are some of the main characters. The production is outstanding. You would have heard from Stacey O'Brien a little earlier in the week about the level of work and detail that would have been put into that production as well. So we'll talk to them about their characters and just how they will play out on Sunday afternoon at 4 right here on Bajan TV, TV 8. This morning as well, we'll be having, as usual, our Crumbs question of the day, and as usual, our Heart and Stroke Foundation Childhood Obesity Prevention Quiz. So opportunities for you to win. Mr. Blood will join us before the show is done because we want to hear from him about one of the songs he's released for Crop Over. That's right, one of those songs that he's released, Darwin Day. You can't wait to hear about that as well. Music you hear on the 100% Bajan station, 94.7, the best 24/7. Are we ready? Let me tell you while you wait, because I'll be reminding you all morning along about an upcoming brunch with Codrington College. It's Sunday brunch at Codrington College every Sunday from 12:30 until 3:30, so just 3 hours. All you can eat. It's a buffet, so it's going to be really something for everybody there at that buffet. All you need to do to be a part of that buffet with Codrington College in their Sunday brunch is to call to book 231-8219. 231-8219. 231-8219 to book your reservation, or you can send them an email at events@codrington.org. events@codrington.org. But you need to book your space for that Sunday brunch with Codrington College by calling 231-8219 or by sending an email to events, plural, events@codrington.org. It's one of those opportunities for you to lend your support to what's happening with the Codrington College. Let's head over now to Blood while we try to get Raquel sorted out. Mr. Blood, good morning to you.
Good morning, Pearson. How are you doing? You hear
I'm
me?
doing well today. How are you doing?
All right, I'm good. I'm fantastic. You know how it is. You live each day, one day at a time. With a smile on my face.
And in living color too, Mr. Blood.
That is correct.
I did not see that you've done something with your hair.
Oh yes, that is correct. We had a stand home party with Square One and whatnot, so I had to make sure that the red was back. Mr. Redhead himself.
Mr. Redhead himself. So Darwin Day on the Sugar Rhythm, brand new 2021 music. Talk to us, my brother.
Yeah, man. Well, that song actually started last year. When I was really busy in the studio, trying to produce some music. And although, we were going on lockdown, we decided that we were going to do music anyway. And when that song was done, it was written by Chrissy D, by the way. Chrissy D and I wrote the song together, actually. And then, when it was sounding so good, and I already had a fast song out, which was called Play a Mass.
Right.
And we decided, well, you know what, since we're definitely not going to have a crop over, let's hold these for 2021. So 2021 starts, and it doesn't seem like we may have any major events for crop over, but music got to play. So we decided, let the music go, man. Let people enjoy it. And so far, so good. The response to the rhythm has been tremendous, actually. We've been getting calls from all over. Maybe we can kind of match it down.
yeah, I know you do. Don't you miss the opportunity really to get out there and do your thing on the stage?
Oh yeah, definitely, man. I mean, like, even for the stand home party, it was a breath of fresh air. It felt so good to be on stage performing, and I really do miss it. Really do miss it.
So how would you categorize this Sugar Rhythm and this song Down Your Day? As power soca, sweet soca?
That is correct.
Ah.
Oh yeah. Of course, power, and more power. You know, I like the energy, I like
Yeah.
the pace, and I've always been able to bring it. And I thought, you know, let's because I think for the past couple of years, a lot of us have been focusing on the raga, street soca type, you know, cool down rhythms, and what has happened to Barbados, especially, is like for St. Vincent, you know, they've started to fill that void and take over the power completely. So
Yes.
we decided, you know, let me get back in there with some power. You know, man. This
And
been on me.
you're so good at it. You've done it. You've done so many wonderful power tunes over the years. I mean, Pokemon, you know, and that's just one.
Right.
And here it is now,
That's right.
Darwin Day on the sugar rhythm. And talk to me about the rhythm, the sugar rhythm, though. Why is it called the sugar rhythm?
Well, you're gonna ask the guy who built it. I didn't actually work on this. I
thought it
didn't
was
actually
yours.
work on it.
Okay.
No, man, this is Barry Hill from Dreadhawk Productions. Himself and T. Ray Armstrong. They, you know, they get together and they produce a lot of rhythms, actually, a lot. And he sent this one. He sent the first one with Play a Master Me, and I wrote the song on that, you know, and that was that he was totally amazed with that song. And then he sent this rhythm, because I kept asking, man, sing some more rhythms, you
Yes.
know, because sometimes I just get tired producing, right? I love producing, but sometimes I get
Yeah.
tired, you know,
I
and
understood.
I did right. So he sent this, and Chrissy wrote her song, and then she said, you know what, man, I got another idea for another song, and she wrote the song and brought it to me, and I made a few tweaks and added some lyrics and whatnot so that, you know, we could get a little bit more energy into it and that kind of stuff, and yeah. And
So
here we
here we
have
are with
Doing
Darwin
Day.
Day. Phrase it the same with Darwin Day. For sure. And it's available. It's available, folks. It's available. You will hear it on 94.7, the best 24/7. For sure. It's in strong
Yeah.
rotation here. And, you know, on the full 100, 246 show, you'll hear it. There's so many avenues through
Bon,
which you can
bon,
hear
bon.
it. And
You,
can we,
definitely.
bon, for real. Can we download it?
It's not as yet, but very, very soon. You know, usually my site is faluma.com. So very, very soon you'll be able to get that song online and download and listen, you know, on your favorite streaming platforms.
Right. So there he is. That's what it sounds like, everybody. Darwin Day with Mr. Blood.
Doing Day.
Listen, it's
love
too
it.
early for you to behave so badly here.
I'm telling you.
Mr. Blood, thanks a lot for joining us this morning. Darwin Day, written by Chrissy D, produced by you.
Produced by myself and Dreadhawk Productions, Barry Hill.
All right. Well, great music
Yeah.
indeed. Of course, you'll hear it on 94.7, the best 24/7, if nowhere else. Thank you so much for
That is
joining us
correct.
this morning, Mr. Blood.
Thank you so very much for having me. Have a
You're
great
more
day.
than welcome. Likewise to you. All right, let's take a look now at our good decision of the day. Today, brought to you by Glucerna, with those nutrients to support your immune system. It says today, your good decision, train with a friend. When you first start exercising, you'll experience feelings of discomfort, such as shortness of breath, sweating, and aching muscles. Don't worry. This is completely normal, and everyone feels like this when they are first starting out. Training with a friend not only keeps you motivated during the sessions, but will also make you less likely to miss a planned session, as you would not want to let your friend down. Oh, I love that. Train with a friend. Pearson, words of advice to you too. Train with a friend. That is our good decision of today, brought to you by Glucerna, with nutrients to support the immune system. We'll take a break right here, and then we come back, the news.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
For the update on news, once again, here's Shane Seeley.
Yes, Pearson. It appears that there's still some skepticism and some hesitancy among sections of the local population about taking that COVID-19 vaccine. And according to the Morning Report contributor Dr. Hilary Moore, it's mainly young adults who are unsure and in many cases refusing to be vaccinated. The emergency room physician explains it's due to social media and mixed messaging, and she believes more needs to be done to ensure that they get accurate information about the vaccine.
So one of the things that they're telling me is that, COVID, yes, if I get it, it's not going to really do me anything. So there is that chance, there is that possibility that you are going to be an asymptomatic person. But remember that when you get the vaccine, you're not only protecting you, you're also protecting the vulnerable around you. And I think what they're thinking is, oh my goodness, but most of the older people have been vaccinated, so I'm protecting them. But you also need to protect the children, the teens, those are below the age of 18, who are not able to get the vaccine.
Dr. Moore also gave her take on the national vaccination program, which is shifting phases and focusing on getting more people fully vaccinated.
No vaccination program has been perfect. That's a worldwide issue. And I do understand the need right now for a little more focus on second doses to make sure that those people who were vaccinated early in the program get their second doses. Because remember, one dose only makes you 60-something%. Where's my word? Just lost the word. Anyway, it only has a 67% efficacy. You go up to 90 and above 90% after the second dose. So I do understand that. However, I don't think that focusing only on second doses is where we need. What we really need is if we can get 70% of our population, which means the majority of our adult population, because remember, we can't vaccinate those under 18 as yet. We need to get our adult population vaccinated. So there are still quite a few people that are looking for their first doses. And I don't want that, they're interested now. And we're humans, that's human nature, and then you're going to find in a month, yeah, I'm not going to bother. I didn't get it in the last month, so I'm not going to bother. So I think we need to be focusing, yes, extra focus on second doses, but I think we also still need to have some focus on the first doses. Have a few areas where they can go and get first doses, which are open.
And if you're indeed seeking to get that first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine, you will have to wait at least until June 1st. Coordinator of the National Vaccination Program, Major David Clark, says at that time a new appointment system will be in place. However, he explains that people will not be able to book appointments yet, as the focus now is on fully vaccinating those people who have already received their first dose.
I have to finish the existing vaccines we have by the 29th of May. Once we have finished that, we will immediately go into first doses, and we will have a new appointment system. We will communicate this through our GIS website so that people will be able to go in, book the location, date, and time. They will receive an email, and then we're off and running with first doses.
And that's your 7 a.m. headline news. I'm Shane Seeley. Back to you, Pearson.
Shane, thank you. It's now 6 minutes after 7 o'clock. We're going to take a break here. When we come back, Crumb's question of the day.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It's 9 minutes after the hour of 7 o'clock. Time for today's Crumbs question of the day. Time for you to become a winner by calling me on 228-5562 or 228-5563 to correctly answer today's Crumbs question of the day. 228-5562 or 228-5563. Here comes today's Crumbs question of the day. In what year did the riots begin in Barbados? In what year did the riots begin in Barbados? In what year? Do your history. In what year did the riots begin in Barbados? 228-5562 or 228-5563. Those are the numbers to call to tell us in what year did the riots begin in Barbados. Answer it correctly and you're a winner today in our Crumbs question of the day. Remember, crumbs absolutely delicious, right down to the very last crumb. So 228-5562 or 228-5563. So get cracking, get going. Someone will take your call right now. It's 10 minutes after the hour. Let's continue now as we take our attention by turning the pages of this really exciting book. It's called Lily and Luca's Adventures. The people behind the book are a husband and wife, Stacey and Gabriel Welch. Good morning to you, Welches.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for joining. You both would have written the book, but Gabriel, you also illustrated the book. So tell me a little bit about Lily and Luca's Adventures.
Well, it's the story of fraternal twins from England with Barbadian heritage, and they visit the Caribbean. In this instance, they visit the Barbados, and this is a collection of the story. And then they also have to few exercises and that, you know, so that's to stimulate the children go along the story. They can do exercise, so to read and full training. That's basically what it is.
So these two friends set off on an adventure, and that adventure took them into the cave. And so I want to talk about the process for just a moment, because Stacey, you're also one of the authors. Gabriel, you're a co-author.
Yes.
So who wrote Lily's perspective and who wrote Luca's perspective, or did you both write in their voices?
Well, basically, it was both of us. We are a team. So we both wrote the story of the book. Gabriel, like you said, would have been the illustrator, but it was our idea. It was a joint idea, husband and wife team.
Yeah, but the narrative and for making the storyline clear is I'm trying to figure out, how is it that Stacey, you're writing in a particular voice, and then Gabriel looks up and says, you know what, I think we can introduce this character, and this character can speak in this kind of way, and then you have to also a shift to respond to that character that Gabriel would have come up with. Is that how it went?
Exactly. It was like, it came to me, I passed it on to Gabriel, okay, and I came in, he passed it on to me, and I okay as well. So basically, and it was very, very successful.
It's a good thing both of you communicate so well, honestly, so that you can be on the same page, for real. So in all of this,
exactly.
Then, yeah, I can well imagine. Yeah. So would it have been? Did you have quarrels while you were trying to define what was the next conversational stage for these characters?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we had to come to an agreement. We had to compromise, you know. Sometimes we had to compromise and see the benefits in it. And sometimes we also had to recognize that, and we had to, it was a journey.
Mm-hmm. And if we may add something, as Gabriel artist phrase, because we're catering children ages 4 to 10 years, has a talent. His pieces sometimes can appear to pieces. So to that, we had to say, well, you know, it's for children, 10. You're going to have some wonderful masterpieces, but just tone it down a little
because children, we want the book for them to actually be able to read the book and the story of and Luca. And so in that regard, sometimes, you know, he's very good, I must say, but we had to tone it down a little bit. So like I said, it was a effort, and we did really well. So we're very, very happy.
That's beautiful. So Gabriel, talk to me about taking the words now and illustrating those words. As an artist, you're able to see words and create pictures out of those words. How was that process for you?
Well, basically, I have like a visual memory. You know, I like to, once I have an image in my head, and words create images. I just look at the image which is in my head and I try to write it on the paper. How I do it.
Oh, okay. You use your visual memory and assist you with those pictures, creation of those pictures. It's the beginning of a series, Lily and Luca's Adventures. This time you're looking into the Harris, but where else do you see these two characters going in their adventures? If you want to give me a preview.
Gonna give you a little preview. So our next is gonna about we're gonna have various sites and attractions Barbados, and also because it's not limited to Barbados.
So in all of this, the children are receiving education. They're able to travel through the words to these different idyllic spots and learn a little bit about those spaces as well. So it's an educational tool. Where can we get copies of Lily and Luca's Adventures?
Okay, Lily Luca Adventure, the first of Lily Adventure, available at bookstores and across the island. Can go to Cloister Bookstore, all 3 locations. They store, you shop, teas, and in the future we anticipate they can get it all from Cotton Trendy, as well as the Art Hub also carries some of the books. So these are the locations that can go directly from the authors.
So pretty much available at bookstores across the island. And I'm told that you're getting in soon to some other features that will help us with our language, use of language as well, because you're going to be soon interpreting in Spanish, French, and Portuguese, right?
So
that is correct.
Yeah, right now we have the book available, is on Amazon and in French. It's already in French and it's English. So in the future, we need to extend Spanish,
German.
I love that. And again, another learning experience. The book targets those from what age to what age again?
To 10 years.
All right, so quite young. Go ahead.
It can be after, and also if visitor visiting the island, it's a great souvenir, whether for yourself on the plane or for your children or your family. You know, it's quite fun.
Right, because there's some action pages in there, some active pages you can actually begin to follow the maze and work your way through as you navigate as well. It sounds really fantastic. Congratulations, Welches, on this particular project. I can't wait to see the other languages because I'm much a French guy. I want so badly to be able to do French, honest for real. And if Lily and Luke can teach me some French in this as well, I'll be happy to do so. But it's recommended for parents to have it because the children will learn so much from it. Not just the foreign language, but also adventures as they travel across the world and explore these hidden spaces as well. So thank you, Stacey and Gabriel Welch. When you're absolutely right. I wonder if you Googled or did you remember because of history you've learned? Margaret Corbin, you're absolutely right. It was in 1876 that the riots began in Barbados. So today, Margaret, you are the winner of our Crumbs Question of the Day. Someone from Crumbs Bakery will be contacting you to make arrangements to collect all of your winnings from Crumbs Bakery. Something tells me you already know about the taste of Crumbs Bakery. So Margaret Corbin, well done to you. Remember, Crumbs is delicious right down to the very last crumb. We're going to take a break right here. We'll come back with even more on Morning Barbados.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning.
Time for the Heart and Stroke Foundation of Barbados Childhood Obesity Prevention Quiz. You know why we do this, because in the month of May, Child Month, we're working with them to bring greater awareness to those nutritional values that children need to adopt. So here comes today's question. You get a chance to call me now on 228-5562 or 228-5563 and we'll talk. And I hope you have the right answer. It's a simple question. I think you know the answer already. So here we go with today's question. Today's question is for you to name a starchy or root vegetable which is a great source of energy or carbohydrates. See? Name a starchy or root vegetable which is a great source of energy or carbohydrates. So let's go. Good morning to you. Hello.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, sir. What's your first name?
Gregory.
Greg, you won already?
No, I won already.
No, I won already. All right, Greg, no problem. So, Greg, how are you doing this morning?
Not bad. I called yesterday.
Oh, that's good, man. Thanks for waking up early to stay with us on Morning Barbados. What do you think your answer is?
Would it be cassava?
Don't ask questions. I asked you for an answer.
Cassava.
Uh-huh. A starchy or root vegetable, great source of energy or carb. You have any more? You stop no, Gregory.
I know cassava will have that.
You think cassava gives you energy? Cassava is great for carbohydrates?
Yeah.
You're a cassava man?
Yeah, when I could get.
When you can get cassava. But anytime you see cassava, you're right there for it, right? So how do you prepare your cassava? In what ways do you eat it?
Just plain and put some butter on it.
Jeez,
okay, I put some butter. Please.
You know, for me, cassava, I only want it in pone. Don't want it any other. What?
I rather more corn.
Pone is the only way that cassava is to be eaten for me. You cannot present for me cassava in any other form. Seriously, it's not one of those root crops I necessarily, as we were saying, Barbadian bound for. But if you do it in pone, I will bound for the pone in a second, if it's done well, of course. So I'll take that as one of those root crops. But you know, you could have said sweet potatoes, you know.
Sweet potato, right? I was studying that.
Yes. Don't you like sweet potatoes?
I like sweet potato.
Huh?
Yeah, I like sweet potato. I was going to say out there, they changed my mind.
You should always have your right thoughts on your head. Don't change your mind. Yeah. So well done, Gregory. Well done. I'll take that from you. Sweet potatoes is also a really good one. Yes. If you get a good sweet potato, have you ever had a good roasted sweet potato or stewed potato?
Yeah. I think I like sweet potato, so I take it in any form.
Boy, let me tell you, some good butter on it, right?
Yeah.
With for me a little. Aha, you got the idea, Gregory. So you're the guy with the fruit trees, right?
Me? No, I will have some.
You keep saying that some. You got a whole forest behind you of fruit trees, a whole orchard, really. So Gregory, you stay on the line. Well done. Thank you so much. You stay on the phone. Someone will take some information from you.
Enjoy your long weekend.
You do too. You do too. Thank you, Gregory, for remembering me on this long weekend, as you termed it. So Gregory is our winner today. He's identified cassava. I'll take sweet potatoes as well. But he is correct in our childhood obesity prevention quiz today, brought to you by the Barbados Heart and Stroke Foundation. Next week, we won't be here on Monday, but on Tuesday for sure, you get another question and another opportunity to win with the Barbados Heart and Stroke Foundation of Barbados. We're back after this.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
27 after the hour. Now we're back with Raquel Griffith, Administrative Officer with the Barbados Accreditation Council. Raquel, I think we know what the Accreditation Council is now. Let's go straight to the CARICOM Skills Certificate. What is it exactly?
So the CARICOM Skills Certificate is basically a document which gives skilled CARICOM nationals the ability to seek work and gainful employment within qualified CARICOM states.
So that's basically what it is. So
that's basically what it is.
You're going to say?
And this is without having to seek. Without having to seek a work permit. So I was just going to go on to tell persons what the qualifying CARICOM states are, who they are, and these are comprised of 13 countries: Antigua and Barbuda, Brazil, Dominica, Grenada, Guyana, Jamaica, Haiti, St. Kitts and Nevis. We have St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Suriname, Trinidad and Tobago, and of course Barbados. And here within Barbados, we also facilitate or accept applications from nationals of Montserrat.
Is there any Caribbean island that is not accepting the CARICOM Skills Certificate?
Only those nations that I would have noted are the ones that would accept CARICOM certificates, skill certificates.
Now, what are the different categories of eligibility really to have access to a CARICOM Skills Certificate?
So there are 12 categories here in Barbados, and I'm just going to go in a little bit about some of them. So the first category up is the graduate, and this category, persons with at least a bachelor's level degree can apply, and this is the degree from any university across the world. Then we have the artiste, and this particular category takes in consideration a vast number of persons. So you can be a visual artist, you can be a literary artist, a performing artist, or even a cultural worker. So we have persons like costume designers and builders. We have poets, script writers, stage managers, lighting technicians. All of these persons fall under this particular category or can apply under this category. Next up, we have musicians. We have sportsmen, and this includes those persons either professional or semi-professional. Teachers, nurses, professional nurses, media persons like yourself, Pearson. We have artisans, and these are skilled craftsmen and workmen. We have the holders of an associate degree or comparable qualification. So these are persons who have obtained at least an associate degree from a recognized and accredited university or college, or persons who've obtained a technical, professional, or a vocational qualification that is comparable to that of an associate degree. We also have household domestics, security guards, and agricultural workers, and those two would have been the last two categories to be added, and those were only added just last year.
So if I were a carpenter for the last 13 years, but I didn't go anywhere to learn, but I'm really great at my trade, can I also apply to the Barbados Accreditation Council to access one of those skill certificates?
Definitely. As a carpenter, you would be characterized as a self-employed person, and you may not have gone anywhere to do your trade, but you may have been part of an association, or you may also have gained vocational skill along the way, a vocational qualification. So persons falling under that particular bracket, they can still apply, but obviously it would be on a case-by-case basis, and obviously dependent on the documentation, the supporting documentation that you provide.
So there must be at least at the basis some little bit of certification of some sort, right?
Some qualification, yes, some qualification. There are categories which do not require a qualification, but again, we want persons still to submit as much supporting documentation as they can. So if you have a portfolio of works, if you have done work on buildings, you could take photos, anything that can support your application, we encourage you to add when you're submitting.
I'm so glad you said that, because oftentimes we don't hear that part of it, you know, that would assist us in being able to acquire that skills certificate. And of course, if you have any queries, we contact you guys at the Barbados Accreditation Council, and you will walk through the process with us. All the bits and pieces we need to know. Now, on receipt of my skills certificate as well, would that entitle me to be able to permanently relocate to another Caribbean member state and work?
Well, right now, there's no rights regarding free movement solely for the purpose of residency or citizenship or permanent naturalization. So if a person wishes to migrate on that basis, they would still need to apply within the country that they desire to go to based on the laws of that country.
So we don't discard immigration rules, those still apply. It just means that as a skills certificate, you can actually use that now to gain employment where you are, but you still have to abide by the natural rules in the particular territory that exists. You know, traditionally we would have heard that you had to get a work permit. You know what I'm talking about, you know, to be able to go somewhere and do your work. But this skills certificate now negate that.
Yes. So the skill certificate removes that qualification, not qualification, that requirement for persons then to have to apply for a work permit. Once you have this skill certificate, you have the opportunity, or rather the benefit, of working with any one of those qualifying CARICOM nation states. And it also affords you the opportunity to play your trade in another country, financially benefit from that. It allows the country as well, or rather CARICOM nations on a national level, to be able to fulfill and heighten their industries because of the free movement of labor.
Is it that once I've received it, it's valid for a lifetime?
It is valid for your lifetime, yes.
That is so comforting to hear. So I can have it, and I could go, let's say, to St. Kitts, and I'm working in media there, and then I decide, you know what, I want to move to St. Lucia because I want to do work there as well, and I can use the same certificate. It will be valid there.
The same certificate.
That's great.
Yes,
once we move within those accredited jurisdictions of which you've listed. So once again, for people who are watching this morning who are saying, I want one of those, I want to access the CARICOM skills certificate, how can they begin that process?
So you come into the Barbados Accreditation Council to get one of the application forms, or you can log on to our very new and upgraded website at bac.gov.bb, and we have the forms available online. You can print the form, fill out the form. It must be signed by a Barbadian Justice of the Peace, and we submit that form along with two picture ping pongs, what we call ping pongs, passport size photos.
Yes.
You submit your qualifications. You also submit your references. You need reference letters, professional reference letters. If you are married, you need to submit your marriage certificate as well. And you also need to submit $100, which is the application fee for this particular service. Once you've submitted all the required documents, obviously for some categories you may need a little more, but that is the basic requirement for most of the categories.
And then it's simple, Simon, from there. The process does not take very long to be able to be completed.
No, it takes a minimum of 7 working days. It's 7 days per persons obtain from the point of submission complete all the documentation submitted. So once we don't require any additional information from you. So once we don't have to reach out to you for any clarity or do any additional checks on the documents submitted, 7 working days a minimum, you should be able to get your skill certificate.
That is so fantastic. And then we're good to go and to play our trade in the CARICOM. Where exactly is the Barbados Accreditation Council located?
So the Barbados Accreditation Council is located in Suite 1, Building 1, Manor Lodge Complex in Green Hill, St. Michael.
Across the street from Price Smart, right?
Yes.
Basically,
that's usually how I give you directions.
Say it like a Bajan. Say it like a Bajan across the street from Price Mart. There you go. That's Manor Lodge. And you look for Suite 1. And because the signage is there, so you can't miss it. You really can't miss it.
You can't miss us. Yes.
I want to thank you so much for joining us today, Raquel Griffith from the Barbados Accreditation Council. There's so much that we can benefit from by interacting with the Barbados Accreditation Council. Knowledge for sure, but access to the CARICOM Skills Certificate as well through the Barbados Accreditation Council. Thank you so much for joining me this morning.
Thank you for having me, Pearson.
You are very welcome. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll meet Josiah.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
20 minutes to 8 o'clock, just to let you know that at Codrington College they're having Sunday brunch at Codrington College every Sunday from 12:30 until 3:30 p.m. and it's all you can eat buffet. You just call 231-8219, 231-8219 to book your reservation or send them an email at events@codrington.org. Now, this feature film will be on your TV screen right here on CBC TV, Bajan TV on Sunday afternoon at 4. It's called Josiah, the Carolinas Connection. The main man in that play and that production, that film, is Josiah. Joaquin Brewster plays his part. Good morning to you, Joaquin.
Good morning.
You have a big role, Joaquin, in playing the role of Josiah. Note the last name, Bowen. You're very fortunate. So tell me about how you were selected to play this role of Josiah.
Well, actually, Stacia from NCF, she actually handpicked me to play this role. I was actually surprised that she picked me. And I mean, I said, well, it's something new. I want to try it.
Yes.
The rest is history.
And you'd never done acting.
Literally.
Literally history, that's right. Yeah. Had you ever done acting before?
Yeah, I did a movie called Too Late Krish. I played a little part in that, but of course, performing and doing music videos and stuff, she would see the music videos, and of course that's a part of acting as well.
Yes.
So,
yes.
But it's something that I always like doing, even just being at home. I like cracking jokes and telling stories. So it's something that just came natural in a way.
So here it is now. You are Josiah, and we're just joined by Carolyn Brathwaite, by the way, who is also your love interest in the production. Afi, good morning to Afi.
Afi.
Good morning, person.
There's your boy just above you.
Hi.
Is this your first time, Carolyn, as well, acting in such a production?
No, it's not. I just done a lot of theater art since I graduated from the University of West Indies. So it would have been a lot of short films with the students there, and then from there I did a lot of stage productions, a lot of film, a lot of film. So no, this is not the
This
first
is
time.
Josiah, right? But you're now playing the love interest of Josiah. You're Afi. Who is Afi in the production?
Well, without giving away too much, I played because it switched from modern day time, from old times to modern day time. So I played the old day time where I'm a slave that is going through a lot from traveling from so far came from and losing so much along the way. So in losing all of that, even to think of having a love interest wasn't a part of Afi's mindset at the time. But as we know, as human beings, we always need the companionship to let go or to feel something more than what you're feeling, you know, because of all the that it would have caused. So Afi's role was, you know, trying to be a strong individual for Josiah in that time.
Immersing yourself back into a character of that period, and you know, we know what life was then. How did you fit into that, and what emotions overwhelmed you while you played that critical role at that period?
Well, obviously, and for is the feeling as though you don't belong, feeling as though you're not a human being, feeling as though you're not even seen, you know, and that's something that while I was playing the character, to think about my ancestors and what they had to go through coming from home, a place they called home, where they themselves felt like kings and queens in their own home, then to be in a space among people that make them feel less than nothing. You never adjust to it. You never adjust to it. And what is so funny is how we are in this time with all that's happening in the world, showing its ugly face again, or showing its ugly face because of cameras that bring it to the forefront. So playing that part, yeah, it brought tears. You go into a space where you have anger, let go of the anger, and just play the role to get across to the audience it as well as you think your ancestors. I will never, hopefully, ever know what ancestors felt in that time, but play as close to the character as possible. But when you get home, you have to just, you know, release it all.
Yes. Joaquin, as Josiah, though, because Josiah was a powerful man. Josiah migrated to South Carolina. And how was it walking in his footsteps through the entire journey of this production for you? How was it?
Well, I mean, it was because before this production, I didn't know about the Barbados and Carolina connection, right? So it was something that was new to me, and I basically knew about it by just reading the script and just doing research about it. So doing it, it wasn't challenging, but it was really, really different for me. And I would say that it was a really, really good experience, and taking on a whole different persona, you know, falling into that place and just being in that zone. It was something different for me. It's a zone that I never went in before. So it was something that, it was teaching me the history of the Carolina connection, and also what our ancestors would have gone through in that time as well too.
What do you think we learn about Josiah Bowen on Sunday when we watched the film Josiah, the Carolinas collection?
Well, Josiah Bowen is one. He looks to make the best out of a situation that's not really that good. But, you know, he's a strong man, and he looks out for his people.
Just so, right? All right. So here it is now. You're both in film. You're immortalized forever and working as a team. And the love interest that we will say play out on the screen on Sunday when we watch it at 4 o'clock here on TV8. And working with that production crew and getting all of the reality brought to the screen. Let's start with you, Joaquin. How is it in terms of receiving instruction and putting yourself in the right light and the right character in your head so that you actually portray it? How was that for you?
Well, first thing first, it was the script and learning, memorizing the lines and then saying it with the emotion and expression that I had to. And I mean, I thought it would have been hard trying to learn all the words and everything, but really and truly, it kind of just fell into place, because I felt what I was saying as well too. So, I mean, it just flowed. It was it was good.
Caroline, how was it for you?
Well, for me, like I stated before, you have to become the character. You have to think. For me, memorizing lines. Like I would tell Joaquin, come on, it's like a song. Remember your lines for a song.
Exactly.
So yeah. So it wasn't hard at all for me. What you have to do is in character, be familiar with the story, know your other actors so that you're able to just blend in and know exactly what is supposed to be coming next. So it wasn't that hard. There is this line that Joaquin would say to me that would make me big, and it was the beginning of what was the love scene. It was something that he made that brought on all the emotions, and it literally did something for me in this time and not just for the film. So it was written, and I thoroughly enjoyed the process. It was really nice. The crew members were awesome.
Yeah. Big up the whole NCF crew, for real.
Amen on that one. All of us cannot wait to watch you guys play it out on screen on Sunday afternoon at 4. I want to thank you so much, Joaquin Brewster and Carolyn Brathwaite, two of the main characters in the upcoming Josiah, the Barbados Carolinas Collection, seen right here on TV8 on Sunday at 4 in the afternoon. Can't wait to watch it. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Josiah on TV8 on Sunday at 4. Back after this and Miss Universe Barbados.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
9 minutes now to 8 o'clock. She is back. Our beauty is back in Barbados. Miss Universe Barbados, Hilary Ann Williams. Good morning.
Hi, how are you?
I am very well. How are you?
I am happy to be home. I'm happy to be here.
You've had the time of your life, Hilary Ann. Talk to me about the time of your life. There last Sunday, we saw you on TV.
Yes, you were the last person I spoke to before I left for Miss Universe, and you're the first person I'm speaking to now that I'm back. So I'm happy to see you. But it was such an honor to have represented Barbados, and I'm so thrilled to have been one of the few women who have the opportunity to go on a platform like Miss Universe to not just represent my country and everything that we embody, but also the story that I took to Miss Universe and representing all the women who've ever felt unseen, unheard, and are just fighting for their voices to be heard. I was really honored to grace that global stage with such a powerful message.
Spoke about being unseen, but you were seen. I know that you were listed in one of the publications for wearing one of those daring outfits, and I think that's a good thing. That's a good thing. There it was, when you turned the pages and you actually saw on that website that you were identified. How did that feel?
Incredible. I mean, I was on international television, viewed by millions. I was in publications and newspapers around the globe, especially even home in Barbados. I was featured in magazines, and it wasn't just to showcase what I was wearing. It was to also share the story and the message that I took to Miss Universe. So that was such an incredible feeling. And, you know, I definitely got a lot of airtime at Miss Universe. So for that, I'm thankful. And the opportunities that are going to come from this experience are endless.
We got so excited when we saw you on the stage and we saw you on the pages, we saw you everywhere. Barbados glowed with excitement knowing that our girl was there representing us so very well. And so you got a chance to rub shoulders with all of those other people as well. What did you get a chance to say to them about this beautiful island of ours?
You know, I've made so many friends, and I'm now a global ambassador for Barbados, and I have a lot of women from around the world that want to come and visit me, and it's so exciting, and I just can't wait to be their tour guide. And I think what's so incredible and special as well is that you can come to Barbados and visit and do all the things you would love to do so safely. So I must say my experience traveling through the pandemic, when I compare and contrast Barbados to other countries, Barbados is definitely top tier, and that I'm very proud of. And I really stressed that to the other delegates because living in a pandemic is not easy.
Frenzy behind the scenes, because we don't see that. We just see you come out smiling and looking absolutely beautiful, but we don't know what happens behind the scenes. There you are. Tell us about this.
Well, I will say it is chaos behind the scene. It's an organized chaos. So there's 74 delegates that were there this year. And, you know, we're backstage with production teams and chaperones and security and hair and makeup, and everyone's just running around backstage trying to get ready for the next segment. So a funny story is for Miss Universe, for the preliminary competition, I had my hair big and curly for opening. And as you can see here now, I had it slicked back and straight for evening gown, and I was backstage running, slicking hair back, taking earrings out. So there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes to get ready for this moment, and you really have to compose yourself before going back out on stage, because despite everything that's happening behind you, you need to hit that stage with confidence, with grace, and just be in the moment. So it was definitely a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Because I'm trying to figure out what it is, but you know, in your head, you know it's a global audience. You know it's a stage, you know anything can go wrong. And all the while you're praying that nothing goes wrong. What was it like when you heard Miss Barbados and you stepped onto the stage for the very first time? What kinds of fear?
Oh, I had no fear. Honestly, you just banish all self-doubt at that point, and you just walk on stage to be the best version of yourself. I mean, me, like many other women, I've trained so long and so hard for that moment that, you know, nothing is going to get in the way of just me showcasing the best version of myself. And I was honestly so excited. It's not the first time I've been on a stage before. And I was just beaming with joy and excitement to have seen my national directors in the audience, to see friends and families and trainers that I worked with cheering me on. And it's like a sports arena. Everyone's cheering Barbados when you go out. And it's such an incredible feeling. And you just feel nothing but gratitude.
Oh, that is so well. You see, you have me smiling because I could feel what you're talking about as well. And we saw it on the stage, just the poise, but the ease with which you're able to navigate that as though you are a pro, as though you'd been there all your life. That meant so much to us to see that. You didn't embarrass us. You made us very, very proud indeed. So
I did my best.
Your best indeed. So coming out of all of this, you said that there's so many opportunities that they're now being, presenting themselves to you. Can you share a little bit with us?
So few things I will share is that I'm still continuing to dedicate my voice and my whole life, no matter what happens next, to advocating about women's rights, women's safety, and gender-based violence. I'm going to be launching a new platform shortly, which is fostering safe spaces for women to anonymously share their stories, so that way we can start breaking down the shame associated with abuse, and that they can seek support and guidance just to return to safety and reclaim their rights and freedom. I'm also going to continue working with UN Women. I'm going to be working with a new organization to end period poverty. And there's just so many exciting things on my plate right now. And I'm looking forward to now shifting my focus to my own passion projects and just hit the ground running. I think now is a great time to continue writing my legacy. I've fulfilled my purpose in life. And for that, I'm just grateful.
That is beautiful, Hilary Ann. So there are young girls watching today who are beautiful as well and who don't necessarily have the confidence that you are clearly exhibiting. What advice would you want to give to them? Because one day they want to be like you, Miss Universe Barbados too. What do you say to them?
I would always say, I got a lot of messages of young women saying they want to be just like me when they grow up. And while that's so inspiring, I always urge women just to be the best versions of themselves. And I will set the example for that no matter what I've gone through in my life, the hurdles or challenges to get to this place. I always said yes to opportunity and continued taking chances on myself. And confidence isn't just something that happens overnight. It's a daily process of putting yourself in uncomfortable situations and always betting on you and knowing that you are worthy and that you deserve every space and opportunity that will ever present itself to you. And while it will be challenging at times, there will be hurdles, I think that's where confidence will really pave the way for you when you can just always show up as the best version of you.
I'll give you a couple of seconds to say a big thank you to some of the people who worked so hard with you.
Oh, wow. There's so many people to thank, but of course I have to thank my national directors, Brian and Natasha. Without them, I wouldn't have been able to experience this incredible opportunity. They have poured into me so much during this process and have always believed in me, even in moments where I might not have believed in myself if I could get something done. And for that, I'm very grateful for all the trainers, especially Gaynell Marshall. She has always been a huge cheerleader and has really helped me craft my story in the way that I'm able to share it now. And of course, all the sponsors that have helped along the way and all of Barbados. I appreciate all the love and support that I had received from you guys when I was at the competition. It really made everything worth it because there were mornings where I got 2 hours of sleep and I'm exhausted, but I read one of the sweetest messages from support at home, and I know that I'm doing everything I can and I'm fulfilling my purpose to not only make myself proud, but them proud as well.
Thank you so much, Hilary Ann Williams, Miss Universe Barbados. What a beautiful way to end today. Thank you so much. All success with your future endeavors. Thank you, Hilary Ann.
Thank you. Bye.
You're very welcome. Bye. And on that note, we say bye today as well. We wish you a wonderful weekend. We look forward to seeing you again on Tuesday. Good morning, everyone.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning.